For serving military personnel who break the law,
can you please calm them the fuck down?
There is a detention facility like no other, where the army sends those convicted of crimes during service. A house of correction that puts deadly weapons and live ammunition into the hands of its inmates.
Position clear!
Where bad behaviour can break futures.
Your unit could apply for your discharge.
I just wanted him to know that I think he's a knobhead.
I couldn't give a fuck like where the limit is.
Let's go.
And punishing training
Keep the reps, keep the reps.
pushes the law-breaking detainees to the limit.
Morris, you are done.
Welcome to the Military Corrective Training Centre, known as MCTC.
We're not allowed to go home.
It is a prison.
A notorious establishment
Get down!
of back-to-basics discipline,
Think about delivering a strike?
where your guard today
A mobile phone is a prohibited item.
There's being searched and then there's being searched.
This is a digital RF scanner. I will be able to tell if there's a phone.
could be your comrade at war tomorrow.
Look around, you fucking idiot.
Stop! That's enough!
Morning guys, morning. Diwali time guys. 6 o'clock guys, yeah? Are you awake? Yeah, cheers.
6 a.m. in Colchester, Essex.
Morning gents, morning.
Up to 300 military rule breakers and criminals can be locked up here for anything up to 2 years.
Any issues, any dramas?
No, sir.
I keep saying this is a prison, but the staff keep saying it's not.
Everyone has been found guilty of an offence, whether it's civilian or military. And we're not allowed to go home. So it is a prison.
Typical 5-star hotel, that, innit?
Reception, Sergeant Rudzinski.
Detainees are here for a mixture of criminal offences or military offences, but both of them fall under the Armed Forces Act.
You will refer to all members of staff as staff. Is that understood?
Criminality could be anything from fraud, theft, it could be a sexual offence, through to serious assaults.
If you just want to get your kit, and if you come around here, searching this kit, make sure there's no prohibited items.
And then you've got the military offences, so absence without leave, failing to comply with an order, military discipline.
Put your boots off for me. We'll just need to check the bottom of your feet.
Whether it's a GBH or whether it's I didn't turn up for work last week.
Into your groin area.
We house them all together because they are soldiers, sailors and airmen.
Date of birth, 2002. Bloody hell.
When they come in, they've been sentenced generally by the military. They've all got a definite crisis point. This is probably the lowest point in their military career coming in, regardless of who they are. We don't care what they've done. That's not our remit. Our remit is to get them out of here in a better condition than when they come in. Right, lads, I just need 2 guys that came in yesterday afternoon.
Guarding the incarcerated soldiers 24 hours a day are personnel from the Military Provost Staff Regiment, specialists in custody and detention. And on day 1, they lay down the rules.
Obey all instructions by members of staff. That's all you need to worry about. If there's something on standing orders that you don't agree with or you think that I'm acting outside my remit, don't question me on standing orders because I'll just change them. OK, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go through how to get your bed spaces looking like this. Discipline makes it a safe environment. Everybody's ended up here because things haven't quite gone to plan. So there can be a little bit of kickback and mistrust, and we need to correct that. And all you're going to do is you're going to make a triangle so you can tuck it in. Right then, pick it up from underneath so you can flip it. And then put it towards... This is about correction, not punishment. Spectacular.
Not name and shame, but...
This morning's new arrival, 24-year-old D.U.S. Johnson, has been sentenced for the military crime of being drunk on duty.
A lot of people focus on things that you do wrong instead of things that you do good, and that's what gets you sent here.
Been working between 12 and 30-hour shifts with no break for 2 months now, so...
Where's the well done? It's all negative.
Having been shipped back from an active combat zone, Sergeant McHenry must now carefully assess the risk he poses while in here and as a functioning member of his unit.
Obviously, you're here for a drink-related offence.
I am, yeah.
Talk me through that. What happened there?
A code name was called on one of the burner phones that we had.
Yeah.
And that meant that indirect fire was coming in. Yeah. So we take hard standing cover.
Yep.
We decided to take hard standing cover in the closest available building, which happened to be a bar.
Yeah. And then you got on it?
Yeah, I got on it, and then it was lifted and we went back.
From what's on paper, reads a lot worse as to why certain things might have occurred. But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, wouldn't we?
What's your relationship with alcohol like? Does it make it work?
We're good friends, me and alcohol.
Right.
See each other every day.
Every day?
Up until coming here, yeah.
So you drink every day?
Yeah.
Okay. You're responsible for lethal force when you're on operations. That's just the nature of the beast, and you can't be drunk. Have you ever had any intervention about alcohol? Has anyone ever said you need to go and see someone back in unit?
My mates have said...
Your mates?
My mates have not said you need to go and see someone, they just said chill out a bit.
Calm down?
Yeah, basically.
Calm down on the old booze?
To which I said, fuck off.
There's no one else to bail you out when you're on operations. If you're on operations, you're on operations. You could be called at any moment. So you don't think, sitting here now...
I can control myself, basically, is what I'm trying to put across to you.
But sometimes you choose not to.
Sometimes I choose not to.
Left, carry on.
Whether detainees have any future in the military after MCTC depends on the severity of their crime and their behaviour while in here.
Want to fucking learn stuff? I suggest you stand by.
MCTC is, for want of a better word, we're an employer's prison. So this is the place that soldiers come because they need to understand that, you know, the army's a disciplined place.
You kicked the door and you just went. That's why you forgot to pull the pin. You're just too much of a rush. Violence of action, gents. Yeah?
Each detainee at MCTC is allocated to one of two regimes.
Grenade!
A company is where we send those service personnel who are going to be soldiering on. We want them to be aggressive sometimes, but sometimes we don't want them to be aggressive.
Grenade! Go, 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 go!
So we're providing corrective training because we want to then reinvest them back into the organisation.
Stand up! Stand up! Show me your hands!
But the detainees of D Company must face up to being chucked out of the army.
D Company is where we send detainees who are going to be discharged from the military and go into civilian life.
Every move detainees make at MCTC is monitored and controlled by the army.
No one knows what time it is because there's no clocks in here. And having no clocks in MCTC, it's about the staff having control.
But one of the detainees of D Company, DUS Jones, has decided he won't be told what to do.
I've picked up a referral for Jones. He's in here for a violent offence, and I think he's using that persona and his size to intimidate people. He's gone into full-on aggressive mode. He wants something to happen. Right, Jones, sit down, mate.
26-year-old Declan Jones is serving 2 months at MCTC after a violent assault against a fellow squaddie and is being dismissed from the army.
Jones has been on my radar, actually, since probably the day after he got here, about his attitude, because he's been rude and swearing and aggressive to members of staff. Aggression's worked for him in the past, and he's continued to try and use that while he's here because he's obviously afraid of something. DUS Jones approached the inductions office and demanded to know, how do I get a medical appointment in this place? He was informed that he was required to show patience and wait, and reminded that it was not the only DUS within MCTC and that there's a process in place to be followed. walked away from the door without being dismissed, complaining about how he'd been spoken to. He then proceeded to refer to Sergeant Naylor as a cunt, arsehole, and that he would take his head off, and that Sergeant Naylor would be sorry. Is that pretty much how you see it?
I didn't call him an arsehole, but...
Not an arsehole.
The rest is true, yeah.
The rest is true. Right, so if we drop the arsehole...
If it was just the way I was spoken to at the time, I felt like it wasn't the correct way to speak to me. I just lost my head.
Has anyone called you a cunt since you've been here, or referred to you in that manner?
No stuff.
Who upped the ante in this instance?
Me stuff.
Right, okay. There's a consequence, 1 Bravo, that generally lasts for a week. Are you going to appeal that decision that the Sergeant Major's made? So you're happy to just take that punishment?
Yeah.
People that do go into 1 Bravo, they'll be removed from the general population. They'll be put in a room on their own, kind of segregated. They'll get issued itchy blankets. They're not comfortable to sleep in. They're heavy and they cling to your body. They won't have television. It's your colour, isn't it? They won't be able to socialise or influence other people. And they'll stay in that for a minimum of a week, and they'll gradually be reintegrated. Yeah, and if they perform again, then they'll go back.
At MCTC, the strict penalty system for bad behaviour sees inmates lose comforts and freedoms in a staged process. 1 Bravoed inmates are confined alone in a room with not even a TV for company. But the ultimate punishment is total segregation in a single cell.
So get your mattress cover, that's all you need, your pillows, your pillowcases and your sheet that you've got ready, and then that'll be, and I'll come and teach you how to do a bed block with those.
I've been abusing members of staff apparently, so they 1 Bravoed me because I kept kicking off, do you know what I mean? But
well, yeah, if you get told to do something, like you've signed up for the British Army at the end of the day, you've got to basically do as you're told, no questions about it. But when you're here and I'm getting discharged and I've got people screaming at me for no fucking reason, I don't know what you expect. Like, I haven't got a job, I haven't got to keep my job anymore. My job's gone, so. They've already done the worst thing possible to me. Like, I've lost my career. So, fuck them, basically, innit? Sorry.
What I do find is that people that do go into 1 Bravo generally will go back into 1 Bravo time and time again.
It's all the same, really. Like, you get told to do one thing, you get trained to be aggressive, but then you can't be aggressive because you end up in here. So that's the thing. It's just fucking bollocks, mate.
These are the people that are conditioned to see risk. If I asked you your name, you'd think, oh, this guy's nice, he wants to know my name. They might think, well, why the fuck do you want to know my name? By nature, that's antisocial.
If you've got something about you, they fucking get rid of you. That's the way I look at it. If they know that you're a bit aggressive. Like, if I was running an army, I would want the most aggressive fucking psychotic men in there. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would want. But they don't want that. They just want fucking, I don't know, little weirdos.
Military Police Colchester, Corporal Swallow speaking, sir.
Not only does the military have its own detention centre in MCTC, it has its own elite military police force.
We've also got the army bases not far from here. A lot of people from the army come out in Colchester for a night out.
With a barracks housing 4,000 soldiers just outside the town of Colchester, the RMP make regular patrols on the lookout for drunken or aggressive behaviour.
It's Friday night, so it goes without saying that it could be a busy night for us, depending on what the soldiers are behaving like.
Everyone in the armed forces is subject to all civilian laws, but they're also subjected to the Armed Forces Act, such as fighting or misconduct through alcohol.
It's our job as military police to essentially limit the bad things happening, and that in turn helps the reputation of the army.
Every time I've met a squaddy, like, they just seem quite pent up and angry for no reason. When they're just like, I just want to fight every time.
Anyone we pick up tonight that we require custody for will be going into MCTC tonight.
We don't want lads going into MCTC. We're here to maintain law and order.
The military police are focused on policing service personnel. And it's not long before a patrol finds a paratrooper using threatening language.
Tell the bastards to fuck off.
And we have a little
These
chat.
two fucked off
And we have a chat. Is that all right? Yeah. You often get paras, you know, they kind of have his attitude about them. You know, they're better than everybody else. You know, but you can see there, you know, armed people turn up. We're one of them. We're in kit, and he responds, you know, to that situation. Gone there. It's good. You know. Yeah. Yeah. Chill out, all right? Okay. Hi, mate. Hi. Troops go through training with the backdrop of, you know, you're a soldier. You know, you may go to war. You may go and fight the enemy, and they'll get to unit after doing all the training, and well, there isn't really a war on. And yeah, bored soldiers do tend to do dumb stuff.
This is part of the early intervention. So by dealing with incidents like this early in the night, we're able to prevent further incidents from getting out of hand later in the night.
Can you please calm them the fuck down? It's my mate!
I know,
it's my mate!
I know.
Let them do their job.
Right, chap, you're under arrest, all right?
By maintaining law and order here at home, we can maintain the wider military's operational effectiveness and its ability to deploy overseas and essentially do its job that everyone's trained for.
But for those found guilty of an offence and removed from their units to be detained at MCTC, only some will make it back.
So you understand your unit could apply for your discharge?
Yeah, I have, sir.
On the basis of the offence?
Each new inmate is hauled up before MCTC's commanding officer, the Commandant, to hear their fate.
We owe it to society to make sure that people leave here having committed an offence and therefore being at risk of reoffending, that we give them the best chance that they're not going to reoffend. And that's our first commitment.
And for DUS Johnson, who was drunk on duty, his time to face the music has come.
If someone does decide to make the decision that they don't want to keep me on, then that's up to them, isn't it?
Johnson's committed a serious offence, and it's not the first time that he's been picked up for his behaviour during his time in the army. You need to be able to depend on people being there. It's about, I suppose, a deeper sense of trust in the people that you're working with. Because ultimately, you're asking these people to do some pretty dangerous things, and trust is absolutely fundamental to the functioning of the team.
That's the bad front quick. Right, left, right, left, left.
Morning, Johnson.
Morning, sir.
Just come over to the middle a bit. That's it, thanks. Stand at ease, relax. Okay, so it's obvious from your reports, in what's quite a short period of service, you've got now 3 offences on your rap sheet, and that starts to look like a pattern. Would it be fair to say that most of the things where you've got stuff really wrong is alcohol's been involved?
100% agree with you. Alcohol is the issue.
Okay, so I suppose my question to you is, what's different now? You know, that you didn't learn from the first time and second time, and this is the third time. What's different? What makes this the moment that you learn the lesson?
From the past experiences, they've all individually been different learning points for me, sir. And this is another learning point for me, sir.
Okay. Do you want to have some support for alcohol while you're here?
I don't know how much help it'd do for me, sir. Respectfully.
And you want to stay serving, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you keep doing it, you're going to give your commanding officer no option but to discharge you. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Your unit want to retain you, which is great for you, right? But what I need you to do is to think about what brought you here in the first place. Thanks for your time, sir. Cheers.
I'll just take it on the chin, as I always have, rather than be a cheeky fucker and, you know, say something back.
You just want to kind of give them some realisation that something needs to change?
Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bags full, sir. But I'm only here for like 10 more days now, so can't wait till the nice cold pint hits my lips in 11 days. Yeah.
MCTC detains offending inmates from all branches of military service. DUS Norbert is an army chef.
Food's quite good, to be fair.
Everyone cooks different. I like strong flavours when I cook. You know what I mean?
But Norbert's passion for food didn't stop him getting in a fight. And he's about to be taught a lesson, military style.
Go.
For soldiers like Norbert with bad attitudes, MCTC wants to remind them what the army is really all about.
Good entry, 2 shots into the enemy, exactly what we want.
Come to me! Arms upside down!
So the A Company regime, it's focused on military training and PT. And it's about the revitalisation of service life. Why did they join the services in the first place?
Through intensive battle training, these soldiers will have to confront their own weaknesses and learn they must rely on each other if they want to survive.
You kicked the door in, you just went. That's why you forgot to pull the pin. You're just too much of a rush.
So in a purpose-built battle facility known as a kill house, staff are on a mission to turn random aggression into controlled and effective combat skills.
Go, 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 go!
Many of the detainees are here for violent offences.
You can suppress from there, can't you? Yeah?
So when they start here, they're in a place where they've lost control of themselves. Good lord.
My fucking shoulder, man.
We see that behaviour spilling over, then we need to channel that.
Get down! Get down! Get down!
Yes, aggression,
Crawl to me! Crawl to me!
but it's controlled aggression,
Be still! Palms up! Stare!
and aggression is a fundamental principle of being a soldier.
When you're controlling an occupant, you need to be aggressive.
But for a man more used to wielding a frying pan,
As soon as you're ready, let's rock and roll.
Army Chef Norbert is about to be pushed harder than ever before.
Don't feel like shooting. Not in the mood today, man. Genuinely not in the mood.
Despite knowing the army want to retain him, DUS Norbert is struggling with the idea of returning to his unit.
I don't want to just stay one place for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I could fucking work in Tesco. I've never worked in Tesco, you know what I mean? It's just like a different vibe.
DUS Norbert, he's quite junior. He's got a lot to learn and a lot to develop.
Norbert clearly has the ability to use aggression because we've seen it within his offence. What I need is him to channel that and be part of that team and then use it to achieve something. It'll either confirm that, yeah, this is the sort of thing he wants to do, or maybe go, actually, this isn't for me. We've got to facilitate that rehabilitation side of it. For them to just sit and just almost rot away while they're inside of MCTC and not get anything from it, we're failing at that mission.
Contact! Stop window!
They get to throw some grenades around, do a bit of violence, boot a few doors in, and then they turn into different DUS the week after. And for those that have never done it, they go back with a skill set they can then pass on to other people and their other peer group. And when they do finally do it in their unit, they're hopefully let out a little bit of stuff they've had building up.
This level of military training is often a cut above opportunities these soldiers would get back in their own units.
I think it went all right, to be fair. Yeah. For the last hour.
Enjoyed it?
It was decent.
Someone who hasn't done a lot of it to end up taking 2 buildings, something to be proud of, right, and take it back to your regiment. And if you do get a chance to go and do it, then hopefully people will be looking at you going, you'll be the leader, hopefully. Maybe you can teach them a thing or two when you get back to your unit. How about that?
Definitely.
Nah, well done. Good.
Cheers.
But as DUS Norbert heads back to base a changed man, another detainee is finding its same stuff, different day.
Perfect. Ready to shit in, right?
After yet another outburst, DUS Jones is spending a second week in 1 Bravo's segregation.
No TV. It's like they've took the aerial out the back, so I can't use it. Well, I'm back in here because I was lying on my bed. Like, I haven't actually done anything wrong. And it was a weekend routine, so in the weekend, you can be on your bed. So, yeah, I think I'm down here for nothing, to be fair.
DUS Jones, he was told numerous times he couldn't lie on his bed. And then he started being rude to members of staff, and obviously that's what led to him to being 1 Bravo'd.
So he's using aggression for everything he wants at the moment, but it's not working. He's an adult now, but he's acting like a child.
I just wanted him to know that I think he's a knobhead. Like, that's all it was. That's literally it. Like, I knew exactly what was gonna fucking happen before I said it. Like, I just thought I'd just tell him anyway.
I get a lot of you saying, oh, I want to be treated like an adult, I don't want to be treated like a kid. I was had to fucking walk around the block, and that is just a selection of what I can pick up. I don't know why I think it's funny, Keeble. What's funny about it?
After a staff search of the accommodation block, the day has not started well for MCTC's incarcerated soldiers.
They've got bins, it's just pure laziness. That's all it is.
I'm finding what looks like jizz rags, I'm finding Rizla packets, I'm finding all sorts, okay? Not acceptable.
Here at the Military Corrective Training Centre, detainees discover that bad behaviour has consequences.
Step staff. Right. Jizz rags. What's it fucking making up?
But for soldiers who repeatedly refuse to conform to the regime,
Someone wiped the ass and chucked it out the window. How's it come out from me?
MCTC has one final resort. 23 hours a day, banged up in a cell. Total segregation.
We do sometimes get detainees who respond to their sentence negatively towards us. I suppose we're the people that are holding them, so in a way that makes sense that they would take out their frustrations on us. I mean, who else are they going to take it out on?
I just didn't want to engage in their programme, so then they put me into Seg, which was like 23-hour lockdowns in a cell on my own. I think I've got quite a strong personality. If I see something and I don't like it, I'm not just going to sit there quietly. And obviously here, they don't like you to tell them if you think they're doing something wrong. So it was turbulent.
DUS Tom is reaching the end of an 18-month sentence at MCTC for a serious offence and is being kicked out of the army.
I think of my upbringing quite a lot. I was in care for a little bit of time, like living in YMCA hostels and things like that, like when I was younger. At the time I joined the army, thought I'd kind of got everything sorted. I thought I was firing on all cylinders, and obviously something went wrong somewhere along the line.
With some detainees, you just identify that they are stereotypical offenders from a certain type of background. They've come from very adverse childhoods.
DUS's Jones and Tom will soon be released to Civilian Street, where they've both previously had brushes with the law.
I'm nervous about going back to Civvy Street.
I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
So don't really want to be going back to the life that I was in before the army.
Yeah.
Getting in trouble, fucking back in prison and stuff.
Part of that responsibility that the MCTC has is to make sure that not only that the detainees that leave here are going to be meaningful members of society,
Listening!
but also just to keep them out of prison.
Sergeant McHenry wants to send these soldiers out better than they came in. So he's designed a direct intervention to specifically challenge their attitudes and behaviour.
When children face traumatic experiences like abuse and neglect, their brain adapts to help them cope. We know of changes in 3 different brain systems.
So the more adverse childhood experiences, the more likely you are to be in and out of custody throughout your adult life. So read them, think how many of them has affected me.
All of the above, I'd say.
And your behaviours have adapted to survive in an environment different than most people's. Yeah. Well, you'll thrive in places where there's threat. When you're in a more normal environment, yeah, it could lead you to miss out on positive things because you're looking for the threat still. But if you're aware of that, then you can do something about it and you can avoid certain things.
It's good to learn something new. It's just giving myself a little heads up to why I make these decisions.
I could see that Tom, he was engaged, fully engaged in that session. You know, perhaps more than Jones.
Sorted? Finished?
Yeah, unless you've got any questions.
No, I'm all right, me.
It's quite clear that Jones had never experienced anything like that before. He never had it laid out to him like that. That's it.
Cheers. Didn't really understand it, and it just didn't really click with me. I don't know, I think it's because I've been kicking off a lot. He just told me it'd be good to do, but I don't know, really. I didn't really find it helped me in any way.
I think this is your job.
I don't personally believe people's backgrounds make them act certain ways. Like, it's choices, isn't it? Like, I made choices and I fucked up. Shit happens, doesn't it?
It's Thursday night, which is pretty much a squaddies Friday. As much as we don't want anything to kick off, you never know. There's a higher probability tonight, but we'll see.
Outside MCTC, on the streets of Colchester, the Royal Military Police are doing their own bit to stop squaddies kicking off.
Come on, City!
Get a lot of assaults in town, whether it's military on military or military on civilian.
We'll be conducting patrols throughout the night. We're going to be joining Essex Police Force as they've requested an additional uplift to help them patrol the streets of Colchester.
In a town full of trained fighters, the military police are on high alert for signs of violence. But over the road, they spot some civilians who could also use some military discipline.
Can you get Essex Police support to Attic over? We're having to deal with an aggressive crowd over.
Stop! Stop it! Stop! Get the fuck! Get the fuck off each other now! Oh, that's enough! Yeah, I just watched him. Fucking boots on in the back. Right? Is he gonna go and hit him again, is he?
As the military police get the situation under control,
Relax here.
Stop him, bro! He's been sick.
Right, I need to talk to him.
the Essex police arrive to take over. But with the streets still full of squaddies drinking alcohol, it's not yet time for the RMP to call it a night.
Oh, never a dull night, eh?
I know.
Back inside MCTC, one particular squaddie who couldn't resist getting drunk despite being in a war zone is DUS Johnson.
You lose your inhibitions when you drink, don't you? So you're more likely to be more impulsive on what something says to you.
The drinking culture in the army is something the army takes really seriously. Units have their chains of command that are responsible for discipline, and part of dealing with that sort of thing is sending someone to MCTC.
In order to show willing, Johnson is sharing his medical knowledge on intoxicating substances.
DUS Johnson got up and without prompt delivered a 10-minute micro lesson on his existing knowledge and delivered it in almost perfect instructional format.
But knowing something and doing something are two very different things.
It's up to me whether I want to stop drinking.
They know that they're going to be given a report that's going to go back to their unit. That's important for them. We offer them support with alcohol. If they engage with the regime, there's clear benefits for them.
If you want to stop drinking, you can stop drinking, but that's up to you. It's not up to a course that you go on.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Shut!
But But as Johnson approaches his final review with the Commandant, not only has he failed to take up the offer for alcohol support, he's also come to staff's attention for all the wrong reasons.
I like seeing if I can win an argument. I have been told I'm not allowed to use the gym, and then I said, well, I'm going. So, I mean, I won that one, didn't I?
Let's back from quick march. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
How do you think you've done while you've been here?
Overall, I've been disciplined, but one slip up.
I've got your report, which will go back to the unit, and it's quite negative.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Not in terms of ability. You're clearly capable, but there are comments in there about attitude.
There was one situation where me and a staff member had a disagreement and it got a bit heated. I should have just left it.
Okay. I would have simply liked to have seen him get through what was a very, very short sentence without any suggestion of a poor attitude. I know you said when you came in here you want to have a full career in the army, right? You've clearly got the ability to do that, but talent's not enough. Talent is not enough. It needs to be on a bedrock of good attitude, okay? Please. He's a bright lad, confident lad, but he just needs to learn that he's not always the brightest person in the room. He's got the arrogance of youth, but he's got it in him to turn that around.
I'm in two minds about it, whether it's like, fuck you, I shouldn't change, or maybe I should adapt how I behave in certain scenarios, and that might treat me better down the line, rather than living how I want, because that's not how they want me to live. At least I know when I'm on leave, I can act however the fuck I want and just have a good time and not have to worry about upsetting people and just be myself rather than this character that they want me to be. Yo ho, let's fucking go.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see him here again. If he did come back, I wouldn't want to guess what the offence would be, but it would probably be alcohol related.
At MCTC, D Company detainees Jones and Tom are both trying to come to terms with their return to Civvy Street after being dismissed from the army.
Jones and Tom, as they get towards the end of the sentence, they start to get the stress of what they're going to do when they get out. They've committed more serious offences. So that's why we try and resettle them, so they don't become long-term, lifelong career criminals.
As part of their rehabilitation, McHenry has tasked the detainees with cleaning the MCTC museum. And it's their last chance to prove they can control their behaviour.
What the fuck is he looking at like that? Gimp, do you know what I mean?
Tell him, lad.
Drag him out of his fucking car.
We'll do nothing.
But so far, it's not looking good.
What the fuck are you looking at? Fuck him. Oh, arms on you, son. Well, this is a fucking museum. What? This is shit. Well, it's fuck all to look at, innit? There's nothing in here.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to give a little bit of dusting, because we've got some visitors coming.
That's mad.
Staff, come on. I was here out to get stores.
Yeah, well, I am very lucky, really, that I did actually get sent here.
Right, don't fuck about.
Come on, man, look, it's a museum, innit? If I wasn't military personnel, then I'd be in Civvy, Nick, looking at 2 to 5 years, just for the offence.
Right, here, Jones.
What?
Come here. Don't start fucking about the kit. Just give the fucking glass of white. Give it a bit of a dust.
Wax on, wax off. I got given 65 days. It's nothing compared to 5 years, is it? Or even 2 years, so, yeah, quite lucky. Stick your hand in here.
No,
what?
Did you like lock me in?
There's a key over there. 100%. Oh, I'm fucking stuck.
Jones, right, this is meant to make you look like half decent. right, and all you're doing is looking like a prick.
I don't want to be here anyway.
Why are you fucking being like this?
Like what?
Just being like a fucking 4-year-old.
Why are you being like that?
Thank you. I don't understand, mate.
I don't want to be here, Staff.
But you are here, aren't you?
Every move the detainees make at MCTC is reported back to the Commandant.
March, left, right, left.
Sir? Warren Jones, stand at ease, please.
And before he walks out the door for good, DUS Jones faces a final grilling on his behaviour.
So, tell me what you've done while you've been here.
Just made CVs and applied for jobs, really, sir.
Have you managed to get a job?
I've got a trial day with a haulage company.
I wanted to talk about your report, because your report's not great. Does that come as a surprise to you?
No, sir. I just think the way certain staff speak to us, not all staff, I know it's the army, but I give respect when I get respect, sir.
On the one hand, your kind of conduct, your attitude hasn't been great, but on the other hand, you're saying you want to rejoin.
So,
I mean, do you want to rejoin?
It depends what the money's like, sir, when I leave. Depends if I'm earning a better wage. I don't see there's any reason to throw good money away to come back to the army, sir.
Do you see the disconnect between the way you've behaved and wanting to rejoin the army?
Yes, sir.
Because, I mean, it's a disciplined environment. I know you haven't really taken us up on offers of things like counselling, etc. You know, that's your choice. But do you feel like if you need to reach out for something like that when you leave, that you're going to be able to do that?
No, I think I'll be fine, sir. Thanks.
OK. I just sort of implore you to try and stay on the straight and narrow. I wish you well. Thanks, Jones. Thanks for your time. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so bring them both with you.
There's a line, and whilst I'm here, I've been stepping over it. It's fucking prison at the end of the day. What do they want? What do they expect from you? It's Tom. Where's Tom? Is he about? No.
Are you done it?
Why have I done it then? Shame to go, really, but it is what it is.
Be good, Jones.
You look at someone like Jones and think that 2 months could have been more productive, but it hasn't been. But having said that, you've got to be sanguine about it because everyone's different and you do what you can. You can't force people to be different intrinsically, you know, in how they are. And I think Jones just, he's not particularly well suited to the military. That's the reality.
Future's looking quite promising. Hopefully propose to the missus. Yeah, see what happens.